In this video, we're going to talk about why I decided to use Hilt for dependency injection, or in other words, why I decided to not use a shared dependency injection solution, like why I'm not using Coin, why I'm not using manual dependency injection, Dagger, whatever. So let's talk about it. So just like the previous video, you could skip this one if you don't care about my description of why we're using Hilt. But if you want to sit and just listen to me for 5 minutes, which I think is really valuable information, then stay tuned. I guess basically, like really when you boil it down, the reason I'm using Hilt is because it makes using the Android architecture components view model just way easier. Like you can do dependency injection into the view model. You don't have to build factories. You don't have to do anything. It automatically works with your composables and the navigation compose system that we're using. So you can create a Hilt view model factory, which will then create an instance of the view model for that composable. It will also automatically create a new instance for if it'll handle multiple instances of the same screen. So remember when I talked about in the previous example where we have Instagram, I'm scrolling through the feed, I click on a profile, that's like, profile number 1, the first instance. If I go to the comments, click on another profile, that means I have a second instance of that same screen. Hilt and the Android architecture components view model, all of that is automatically handled when we just use those. So if I was to use some other dependency injection solution, it's just going to be more complicated. So Hilt just makes our life easy. And those of you who have not used Hilt yet, you might be thinking it's similar to Dagger. It is sort of similar to Dagger, but it is like 100 times easier than Dagger. The simplicity of Hilt is really a beautiful thing because, Dagger's great. It solves a problem. It does a great job at solving that problem. But the learning curve is unreal. And even like you could make a course on Dagger in itself, like hours that would be hours long, which I have one of those courses even. But Hilt's like really to cover everything that Hilt does, you could do it in like half an hour or something like that, which is pretty awesome. I know it's not quite as simple as, Coin or some other dependency injection solution, but it's still quite simple and you get a lot out of it if you're using, the Android architecture components view model and you're using a compose only navigation system, which we are. So it just makes sense to use Hilt. Also, fun fact, there's going to be some new kind of functions available to us for using view models and Hilt coming soon. I believe it's like a Hilt view model function. It's just going to simplify things a little bit. Like right now we have to create a Hilt view model factory, use that factory to instantiate the view model inside the composable. Soon it's going to be basically, I guess you would be condensing 2 lines into 1 line. So it's not really that big of a saving, but still it shows that they're actively working on it. They're still trying to improve it, even though, it's pretty great in my opinion, even as of today. All right, boys and girls, that's it for the talking. In the next video, we are actually going to start coding. We are going to set up Hilt for our project.